Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I am the Grumpy Old Hermit. On this channel I'm going to talk about things like atheism, religion, news and politics, and kind of whatever suits my fancy at the time. So I hope you enjoy the content. If you do, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel as it'll help me out a lot. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Hi and welcome to the channel. Today I thought I would talk about objective morality, especially whether such a thing is true or not. So how is objective morality defined? Well, according to the internets, it's defined as the concept that certain actions and beliefs are inherently right or wrong, independent of human opinions, preferences, or emotions. This means that moral principles or values exist universally and are not subject to individual interpretation or cultural differences. So, using this definition, is objective morality a fact or a myth? It's a myth, absolutely. Okay, thanks for watching. Glad we cleared that up. Really though, I think the whole concept of objective morality is mostly a myth. In many cases, I think what we call morality is more just basic animal instinct. For example, thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not steal. We call these the most basic of objective morals, and they are basically universal, and not just among humans, but also are widespread in the animal kingdom in general. But this is not morals, this is instinct. Because we have evolved as a social species and as such rely on cooperation for our very survival. If you kill a member of your pack or tribe, you make it weaker. It is therefore harder for the tribe to survive. If you steal from the members of the tribe, you deprive them of the resources they need to benefit the tribe, which again leads to the whole tribe being weaker. Tribes that took corrective action against those who would commit these acts went on to thrive and reproduce. Tribes that did not take corrective action died out. Again, this is not just true among humans. From what we have observed, other social animals such as apes, meerkats, wolves, the list goes on and on. So, in this sense, objective morality is true. It is universal, and not just among humans. It is essential to ensure the survival of a species. I would even throw in honor thy mother and father as basic instinct. Because the way I interpret that command, and I can interpret it any way I want, because that is apparently how the Bible works. I see that command as telling the young to pay attention to their parents so that they can learn to survive in a world where everything wants to kill them. If you just let the young run around doing what they want, the species won't last long. So, by looking at the 10 commandments, I think we can conclude that the first 4 are just meaningless. Number 5 is good advice, and the last 4 can be summed up as don't mess with your neighbor or his shit. So, just 2 commandments that are universal for all social animals, not specifically humans, all explained by evolutionary processes. Once we get beyond those basics though, objective morality moves into the realm of myth. We begin to negotiate with what objective morals mean. For example, killing is wrong. Unless you feel threatened, or God tells you to do it, or your leaders decide that a population is trying to steal your freedom, then killing can be morally justified. So clearly, thou shalt not kill has loopholes. I know some will argue that the command is talking about murder. Sure, let's go with that. I will give an example and maybe someone can answer for me which position is objectively, morally correct. A police officer shoots and kills an unarmed man who committed no crime. The officer says he believed the man was a suspect and thought he saw a gun. Turns out that the officer was wrong on both counts. The parents of the man want justice for their murdered son. The state, on the other hand, brings no charges against the officer and declares him innocent because the officer thought the man was a suspect and armed. He was neither. Where is the objective morality here? Is it with the family who wants justice for the murder of their innocent son? Or is it with the officer who says he felt threatened? Because they cannot both be correct. Let me know in the comments who you think has the high ground here. The reality is that morality is 100% subjective. It evolves and changes over time and culture. Slavery is a good example of how morals change over time. At the time of the Old Testament was written, slavery was common among all nations in the region. The Old Testament even has whole passages of God telling his people how to acquire and care and feed your slaves. God put it in his laws how you were to treat slavery. Never once did God condemn slavery. and he had 3 chances over 1,500 years to fix it. First in the Torah, then in the Bible, and finally in the Quran. Not once does God command that people stop owning other people as property. So it was man, after thousands of years, concluding that, why no? Owning people might just be a bad idea, which is very strange. They did not do it because of God, because that goes directly against God's views on slavery. So man defied God to outlaw slavery. So now we consider slavery to be objectively wrong. Mostly because there are still parts of the world today where slavery goes on. Clearly the people who practice the slave trade disagree that it is objectively immoral, and they can use any of the Abrahamic religious texts to justify that view. It's not like anyone can point to where God changes his mind on slavery. This is just one example. There are literally thousands of examples I could give on how something one person believes is objectively moral, while there are others who would disagree. If God wrote his morality in our hearts and minds, this should not be the case. Yet the only true moral values we seem to agree on are the 2 commandments: listen to mum and dad, and don't mess with your neighbor or his shit. But these are not moral values, these are survival instincts bred into us over tens of thousands of years to ensure the survival of the species. It is the same for all social species. Anyway, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching.